Evening, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
You can hear me all right?
Yes, I can. Thanks for doing this. Let me swap sides so we look like we're looking at each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I could never get the camera. I've got like an independent camera and I can never get it. I'm always not looking at it. So,
Yeah, that's the trouble. If I look at that, I'm not seeing what you're up to.
yeah. So, you do the West Wales video podcast thing? Yeah.
Yes.
So, is that like a parody of being in West Wales, or are you actually in West Wales?
I'm in Weston-super-Mare.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not West Wales at all.
But I'm from West Wales, so I was
Oh,
brought up
whereabouts?
Lampeter, mostly.
No fucking way. I used to go to Conti's Cafe in Lampeter all the time.
Conti's Cafe, the place to go, yes.
And that's still there. I was like looking on Google. I was like, you know what? I haven't looked at Lampeter for like probably 30 years. So I'll kind of just see what's. And of course, it hasn't changed at all.
No.
The shop, everything's the same. Just like things are painted slightly different colors and different shops and stuff. But I was delighted to see Conti's Cafe. It's just like, fuck me. Like I used to sit in there
generations?
when I was seeing this young lady who went to Lampeter School. So I used to go down to see her, and I'd sit in Conti's waiting for her to come out and her school. I'd just bunk off, of course. And I was what 16. So yeah. 44 years ago. Jeez. Fuck me.
I must have been around
anyway.
The same time I'd have been there.
Yeah?
Yeah, fish shop's still there. That's been there for centuries.
Yeah, I don't know if they still do the market anymore. Probably not.
I don't think so, no.
There's many market.
Big shops. No, that stopped ages ago. I think they still have the time off on the Monday or the instead
of course
they work the Saturdays.
Yeah, I bought my wedding suit from the big soup shop in Lampeter that's kind of down the end of like one of the high streets. But
was it BJ Jones?
Yes, that's the one. Yes.
Unfortunate naming, but yes.
Yeah. But you know what? Fantastic service.
Yes.
I was in there and spending a few £100. So I had all three guys, lovely. All of this is the tie. And so it was awesome.
There we go. We must have crossed paths at some point as well.
Must have. Did you go to Lampeter school?
I didn't. I went to Aberystwyth school, but I was always in Lampeter because I was nearer to Lampeter because I was in Cribin outside.
Oh my God, Cribin, Jesus, yeah. I mean, like when you live there, like you absolutely know fucking everywhere, So Cribin was a bit kind of like out of my cycling range,
it was no reason to go there unless you're
near Aberystwyth. But my mum used to sell antiques. She had like an antique shop. And so, I'd go with all to all the sales and stuff. So, all the estate sales and the places at Newcastle, and of course, Lampeter, they'd have various auctions there and stuff. So, like traveling all around Aberystwyth. I used to go to Aberystwyth all the time because like that super duper fish and chip shop on the harbour, which I hope is still there.
Celtic? Is it the Celtic? Yeah, I think we used to go there because I've still got family down there. So every July and December we visit and end up in either the Celtic or Lloyd's Fish and Chips.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, what a it's a lovely little place, Aberystwyth, actually, because it's got
that definitely hasn't changed. Lampeter's shops have changed, but they're still the same butchers in Aberystwyth, still the same sports shop, and still the same. There's nothing much has changed.
That's so awesome. I love it because it is a bit of like where I'm living in Portugal is kind of similar, actually. I think if you come back here after like 30 years, it's like, well, that's a new house and that's a new house, but otherwise it's exactly the same. And West Wales is totally that too.
Did you ever go to Newquay?
Oh yeah, I used to go to the arcade at Newquay.
I was going to ask you if you went to the arcade, and I was always
yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, I pulled over an asteroids machine in a complete rage. Because I was in there like absolutely twatting the machine to bits, And so I had extra lives off the screen, and like I kind of didn't realize the arcade owner was standing behind me, and he didn't like it, and he basically said the machine's broken. I'm like, no, it's not. And he said, oh, it is. Look at all your extra lives. And I said, no, it's like I could. If I get 100,000 on one life, which I can do easily, I get 10 extra lives. This is all. And he was like, oh, no, no. And he reached up and he just turned the machine off. And I was so irate. Like, as he walked around the corner, I pulled the machine over and ran off. So I was not good. But I'm like, fuck you! That's my 10p. That I'd, probably. I think he was just pissed off because I'd probably been on it for a couple of hours at that point. He wasn't taking any money.
On 10p,
yeah. But no, I would not be denied.
Cool. It's unfortunately no longer an arcade. It's what is it now? It's just a shop, general tat shop.
No,
it was about 10 years ago. It was still an arcade, but
yeah. I mean, that's what most of that. I think Aberpier has still got some machines in it, but they're all bloody, tat tokens for tat machines.
Yes. Western Supermare, we've got the pier here that has arcade machines. It's got some old ones, and but it's mostly ticket machines now.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I mean, you've got to try and make some money, and
exactly. They got the Space Invaders and the track and field at the back, but
I wonder how much money they actually take. Yeah, plus it's like the maintenance of them and stuff like that. I mean, all the people that make arcades, it's always it's like it's so great that you're doing that, but at the same time, it's like you got to be really dedicated to do it. And because I think the whole concept of an arcade just is kind of a little bit old-fashioned, and you're not getting the new games that you get. The whole point of going to the arcade was like, oh, what's exciting and new, and now it's just like, well, it's actually to go and play the games that I've been playing for the last 40 years, which is great. But I'm certainly not the kind of person who can do that like a couple of times a month.
I think the newest one in Western Supermare is Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah. I haven't played a new arcade game since
I don't. Do they even make anything anymore that new?
I think they've, now you can play like arcade games with bloody tokens that come out. And you shoot enough people, and you get
it's like squirt the
piece of plastic crap.
Win 5 tokens, and it's 20p for the 20 tokens, like a penny sweet. But
garbage. Yeah.
Do you ever go to the retro arcades, the adult ones that have like a bar and they've got all the old arcades that they've fixed up?
Well, they don't have any here in Portugal. Or they might. I think they might. There might be one somewhere, but to be honest, it's not. No, it's just not my thing. To me, I'm such a home gamer now, and the kind of games that I play are like MMOs and Call of Duty and all that stuff, and so I need to be at home to do that. And so I like the idea. I know what will happen is I play 2 games and I'll be like, yep, this is exactly how I remember it. And that's it. That's like I talk about that in my book, actually, kind of like my lack of nostalgia. And actually, it's a video game thing, because there are things that like make me feel nostalgic. Like I listen to a tune, it's like, oh, okay. That takes me back to summer of '78 and knocking about with my mates and stuff. But like video games, and I get nostalgic for stuff that's like like a decade old. Like I was listening to one of the Destiny pieces of music, and I was like, oh, that really. It took me back to 10 years ago when I was sort of sitting there, in a difficult point in my life, and I was listening to this music, and I kind of remember that. Right. So it's kind of nostalgic, not exactly nostalgic, not in that, oh, it's so great. But I just remember a particular time and place. So I know some people they can play a game, and it's like, well, at least it seems like every time they play, it's like they're playing it for the first time. That doesn't happen to me at all. Every time I play it, it's like I'm grinding it into the dirt until I'm.
I was going to say, defender, champion, pole position champion, crossfire. Could you just ace straight away now if you just put it in front of you?
Well, here's a funny thing though. So I don't. Well, about 12 years ago, I guess it must have about 2010ish. I was at E3 and they had a Defender machine there
Right.
in the retro arcade, and I was like, you know what? Let's have a look. And I got it was about 400 and something. It was nearly 500,000. I was like, holy fucking crap! I can't believe it. And like people were watching me like, oh, he's a bit tasty, you know, like. And I was like, I can't believe that. I haven't played. I had one game just to kind of, you know, check the controls and stuff. But like the second go, yeah, it kind of, you know, dialed in. And quite obviously, I wasn't that good, but I was good enough to score 500,000, which is pretty fucking good. Not, especially not having played it for that long, and I was 50 then, so my reflexes aren't that great. But then again, like last night, I was just like, I was bored, and I'm like, you know what, I just want to shoot people in the face. So I figured out. So basically, I haven't been playing Call of Duty because fucking territory still, like, you know, 30 years after we used to have all this import games, we still have territory problems, right? So I bought my Call of Duty in the States, and of course, because Sony are dicks, they're like, oh no, you can't, you know, you can't move your game to Portugal and play, you know. Oh, whatever, like why, I really don't know. Anyway, so but I was like, you know what? I know that like my progression is tied to my Activision account that's actually kind of behind the Call of Duty. So is there a way of like that I've got a new, you know, Portuguese Sony account so I can play games in Portugal, and I also play games in America on my old American account. I was like, oh, you know what? If I just align my Call of Duty Activision account with my new Portuguese account, will it work? So I did it. Boom. You know, I had to look it up, of course, and run the gauntlet of AI answers telling me complete shit because they're 6 months old and just whatever. So I did it, and it worked, and I was like, "Way!" So I haven't played Call of Duty for 6 months. First game, absolutely annihilated everyone. MVP. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" So anyway, very long-winded way of saying, kind of like my gaming muscle memory. Sometimes it's terrible, but on certain games, it's really good. I think what happens is it's like if I haven't played Destiny for 6 months and I go and play Destiny, I'm like, how the fuck do you bring up the menu? And I can't remember that. But I'll go into like a dungeon and be like mowing people down and throwing grenades and knifing them in the face and just knowing the buttons. So I don't know what that is. But yeah, you could probably write some sort of.
Are you any good at the dance mats or the Guitar Heroes?
Shite. Guitar Hero actually. Okay, so my ex-girlfriend, she like played like keyboards and bass guitars. You learn bass guitar in like 3 weeks. It was ridiculous. And cello and all the she's just very, very good at music. And so we'd play Guitar Hero together, and she'd play the lead guitar and I'd play bass, and I could kind of keep up on bass with her, but she was like because it was like, it's so weird. Like I'm playing it, I'm pressing the buttons because I'm looking at hand-eye coordination, and she's like, I've learned which buttons to press by looking at the screen like notes. It's just like, what? That is kind of cool that you could play it almost like I've learned the notes. So she's just sitting there kind of like doing it in time, but she kind of knows where to put her fingers, not because she's looking at the screen, but just because she's learned it, like learning an actual tune. Yeah, it's brilliant. That I was like, that's again, like games of when you like look at kind of like how games work and like how people sort of approach them in different ways and stuff. It is very interesting. That's a classic example of like just
that's a cool
completely different brain, you know, sort of methodology, but actually achieving the same result. Yeah, she was good, and I was decent enough. Like,
you were a good driver. Outrun or Chase HQ, a good driver.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I played Gran Turismo to death, but although now I'm more Forza. I just actually I've been putting it off because I played the first 4 Forzas.
Okay.
And well, on the 4th one, I was just like, you know, this is it's feeling very, very samey. So I kind of skipped number 5, which is based in Mexico. But then it popped up on the Xbox. It was like, you know, half price, less than half price for the, you know, all the cars and stuff. I'm like, God, all right. So I bought it. So I've been playing that for a few days. And it's fun, but already I'm like, yeah, I can feel. It's like you can feel you're in the Matrix. It's like I know where I am and what I'm doing and what I need to do, and there's no real surprises.
Right.
It's Ubisoft games are the same. I just don't play them anymore because it's like I'll be playing it and it's like I know I've reached the part in the story where this is going to happen, and then I'm going to have to do this particular thing, and then unlock 5 blah blahs and do 2 quests. It's like this sort of structure, and it's just like so irritating. Because it's like I'm trying to enjoy the game, but actually it feels like what I'm actually doing is a series of tasks that have been hung on almost like a flow chart, like sticky notes and stuff. And I can kind of see the sticky notes as I'm doing it, and it's just like it's kind of dull. I don't mind repetition, like Call of Duty. I can play the same map, but within each map, every game is kind of slightly different. You're improvising all the time and stuff.
Yeah.
But like when you've got this kind of rote sort of like, yeah, I'm going to have to ride over here and talk to this person, and they're going to make me do this quest where I pick up 5 things. It's just like, oh God, I know what I'm doing.
They're doing the same with films, though, aren't they? Sort of making them games. Just do this.
Well, when I was in California in what was it, 94, 95, I was working at Virgin, and they sort of pay. If you wanted to do something, they sort of pay for it. So I did a story writing course for Screen because I thought it might be useful, and it's free. So it was a few weekends, kind of intensive course. You spend all day with this. Robert McKee was the guy's name, and actually he's very, very good. And what he did was he kind of took apart like exactly how a film works and the beats and all of the rest of it. It's like, oh, okay, that's the science of it. And then he sort of just talks about sort of story and sort of how to create stories and things. Very, very, very good course. Really, lots of really good insight. And on the final day, he spent 8 hours going through Casablanca, like pausing it and saying, see this bit, well, what are you doing here? What he's doing here is this and this and this. And I would be pointing out things like, if you look in that shot, the bars are this way from the shadow coming through the blinds, but in this one it's different. And the reason why he's doing that is to set up and it was just like, holy crap, just like, I mean, seeing this like amazing movie being taken apart and you really, really understand why it's amazing. And so it was just a really, really good course. But the point being that when I began to watch movies after that, I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. They're just setting up this blah, blah, blah to do this at this. You begin to get the structure thing again. So for a little while, I had kind of movies were not exactly ruined, but I just became very sensitive to kind of like what they were doing to manipulate me. Like, how are you doing that? Because and then you're going to do this. Oh, look, they did it. And it's like, it didn't ruin the movie exactly, but it kind of did. It's very, very weird.
Do you have time to watch movies if you're playing so many games? Or is that not your thing?
I used to love movies, and I kind of I still do, but there's so many shit ones. Actually, the other day I was all right. I'm really bored. I'm so bored. I don't want to play any more games. I'll watch War of the Worlds on Prime, and holy fucking shit! That
is that the new one?
Yeah, with Ice Cube, I think it is.
I see. Yeah, they filmed it 5 years ago or something, didn't they?
Whenever they did it, they should have just left it and set fire to it, because it is one of the, it's very difficult to kind of like quantify the worst movie you've ever seen. But I think part of it is the fact that it's played straight, so they think they're making something good. So that's bad, and it's just terrible. And like the special effects are like something out of the Tripod trilogy from the late 80s, sort of like just literally wobbly green screen stuff. There's no excuse for that. There's just no excuse, and the plot It's nonsensical, and it had like one of the characters was a prime delivery guy, like with his product placement. He's just like, it was just no redeeming features. If it was so bad, it's just so bad. It's just bad.
It's not good to enjoy. It's just bad. You think, why am I wasting my life on all this?
Yeah. So I got about, I don't know, about a third of the way through that. But but other than that, I'm very picky about my movies these days, because I think,
well, yes,
you begin to. It's a bit like pop music. It's not that all pop music sounds the same, but you just listen to them and it's like, that reminds me of something else, and so I'm not that into it, And movies are the same. It's like, I'm kind of seeing too much of that. But I like movies that like video games. So
which is an excellent segue for me to bring up 4 films that I want your opinion of. The Wizard with Fred Savage.
Never seen it.
Okay. Do you know of it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it was way too young for me, and I just wasn't interested. I was probably watching Akira at this time, so to give you an idea of
there's the level
where I was at mentally.
Moving right along. What about Ready Player One? Or the book?
I watched it. Shite. I actually enjoyed the book, it must be said. I thought the book was quite good and imaginative, and it was just like video game movie done by somebody that didn't really get video games. Like is it Ryan Reynolds in it? He's an NPC.
Oh yes, Free Guy.
Yes, that I watched and I thought was absolutely fantastic, because there's just so much crazy shit going on in the background, and it's all kind of that's what I'm kind of getting at, is like, it's all things that you just have seen, or the guy running into the wall accidentally, and all this kind of stuff. It's like yeah. That was really, really, really good, and they really did get video games, and they kind of explored every avenue possible. And it kind of felt almost like one of those classic Naked Gun movies, with the sort of like the shit that's happening in the background all the time.
Yeah, you have to pay attention.
Yeah. And then this thing is just like, all right, it's kind of a video game action movie, but actually shite. And I forget what the plot hole was, but I'm like, yeah, that somebody would figure that out. Wasn't it like he went into reverse at the beginning?
Yeah, in the race, he goes backwards all the way.
Yeah. I mean, that would have taken any game.
Someone would have done it by accident.
To figure it. Yeah.
Like me playing a racing game. Whoop, wrong gear. Okay. Yeah. Pixels. Adam Sandler.
Nope.
Didn't watch
it. No, I just had bad reviews. I'm not. I think I might have channel surfed into it occasionally, and whenever I have, I watched it for 10 seconds. And like, yeah, that's why I didn't watch it. Shite.
Okay. One more. Joysticks.
No.
No, early 80s sex comedy sort of thing set in an arcade.
Yeah. No, basically. I would have been watching, at that point, kung fu movies or Blade Runner and things like that. I kind of get those Animal Housey movies. But that's just never my thing. The funny stuff I thought was like Naked Gun and Hot Shots and those kinds of things. Once it kind of veered into the jocks and nerds and the sexy, it was just like, it's a part, kind of a little part of American. Even though I lived in America for 30 years, part of American culture just was never really interested in. It's like the same reason why I never played Leisure Suit to Larry. Those games. It's just like, just not into that humor, basically.
Yeah. What about Police Quest or Space Quest?
Nope.
No, none of the Sierra games. I got nowhere in
those. Like Monkey Island and the LucasArts stuff. Love that. But I mean, in a way, I think that's kind of part of like me as a gamer. Is I'm not into. I am these days into very specific things. but throughout my life, it's like I've sort of dipped into pretty much every category. But I don't sort of like play everything, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, point and clickers. Yeah, it was all the Lucas stuff. That was the stuff that I really
I was going to say Last Crusade,
playing.
the adventure game or the action game, but have you tried either of those? Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I think I reviewed both of those back in the day. I actually like the action game. I think it was difficult. I remember people maybe writing letters in saying it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. And then if it's too easy, you write complain it's too fucking easy, so you can't win, basically.
Yeah, I spent, how much was it back then? £20 back then or something on one of these games, and I completed it in 5 minutes, but yeah.
yeah, that was me and Bruce Lee. Everyone's like, Bruce Lee, it's great. And I'm like, fucking spent like saved for 3 months, bought it, finished it in an evening, and I'm sitting there like going, fuck you, all you crappy reviewers that gave it this top class rating and said it was challenging. It's like, no, it wasn't. It was too easy. So yeah.
There we go. But I've got some of my favorite games from the past that I'll bring up for your opinion, if you don't mind. So
sure.
The Trapdoor on the Spectrum. Did you ever play that or watch the show? Or was that beyond?
Yes, no, I didn't watch the show. I was too old. But this is one of those games where I wouldn't ever play it, and I wasn't interested in playing it at the time. But I thought it was brilliant. You know, like Don Priestley, right? And the big chunky graphics and stuff. I remember like looking over one of the kiddies that they would bring in from the local school, and he was playing it. I was like, okay, that's really cool. I'm not interested in it, but it's cool, right. And I like the big graphics. So yeah, I can see why that would be very appealing.
It did, yeah. It was good fun because I was of that age. But yeah, I can imagine professionals basically appreciating.
Yeah, bloody kiddie game. That's what we would have said. One to buy for your little brother. That was usually not exactly the kiss of death, but it was like, it's great, but buy it for your kid brother. It's like, all right, yeah, you're older and like shooting things, don't get it.
Okay. What is the next one? Someone, I think it's in the. I had a Master System. I was a Sega child for some reason. I think it was the cheaper option at the time. But yeah, I only had 2 games. Well, plus Alex Kidd, but I'm absolutely useless at platform games and most other games.
Oh.
So I can't jump the toppy.
Yeah, Alex Kidd was pretty good actually. Was this a platform game, right?
Yeah.
Here's the part of the problem. Like, I would play a game like for an afternoon, if that, and write the review. Right. So this is one of those games where I was like, I vaguely remember it. In fact, I remember what it looks like from the screenshot. I don't know if I reviewed it or I edited someone's review of this, but it was like, it wasn't great. No. And it wasn't terrible. It was it was pretty decent, right? But yeah, no idea. I would have to Google it and
a lot of these are film or TV based because that was my thing at the time. So,
but yeah, I mean that was what everybody, not everybody, but yeah, I mean, that's what Ocean. It's like and US Gold,
LGN,
so popular because that's elite. TV show. Let's make the game of it. Buy the license and then figure out. Death Wish.
Death Wish 3. You are Bronson in Death Wish. The most violent video game to come out of the Spectrum, apparently. No.
I'm trying to think. I
don't think I get the screenshot.
I think I might have reviewed it on Commodore 64, and I think I absolutely gave it a 20. Let me quickly look it up because I'm pretty sure I
imagine the map makes no sense. It's apart from it's got rocket launchers and you can shoot grannies in the street. There's hookers, but you can't kill them. And then paramedics that turn up and drag corpses away.
Oh my god! CVG gave it 90% on the Commodore. Interesting.
Hey, it's a winner.
Damn. Just looking at the review. When was it?
87.
Oh, yeah.
The film was 85, I think.
Yeah, I remember watching the movie when I was still at Zap,
Yeah.
and yeah, this one was definitely was quite violent. And it's a quite shocking deaths. I think don't the baddies end up getting thrown in, literally having a shocking death and get thrown
Yeah,
into
they
a power
explode
generator
once
or
you get
something.
worked up to the rocket launcher. They explode on screen, but it's all just black and white. But yeah, my Spectrum it was anyway. Okay. Batman Returns on the Sega Master System. I actually completed this, I think, twice. There's not many games I actually complete.
Nice.
So
I
I'm very
think
proud
this
of
is
myself.
decent. I'm pretty sure I reviewed it. Don't remember anything about it at all.
You have reviewed
just
one or two games, so I'll forgive you.
Yeah, it's production line. Yeah, I mean, this is part of the problem. You know, when you review so many games, a lot of them are just like they just go into sort of like this mulch, basically, of like, oh
Well,
right,
yes.
yeah.
I guess because it's on the
one of
Master
those.
System, the NES, and every other console at the time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure I played this
like
on Mega Drive, and I certainly played it on the computers because I reviewed it. The Ocean. I mean, this was Ocean's effort, and was it on something weird like the GX 4000? I'm pretty not sure not, but it was on something. But could you use you shoot a thing out and go around corners in your car?
I thought that was no. Actually, I can't remember. That might be the first one. I don't know. Actually,
Yeah, maybe.
I can't remember if there's a car level in this one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely had a car in this one. He must have done.
I'd have thought so. It's a selling point, isn't it? But yeah, like, all right then.
Yeah, this was a great movie. I actually really enjoyed that movie, the movie a lot. I thought it was probably my favorite because it's kind of dark. I mean, it's
it is very dark. So, yeah.
So
Lost to McDonald's,
it's got and like all the cool looking backgrounds and very gothic. Yeah.
Sexy Catwoman.
The way it should be, and Catwoman.
I put it back away. So yes, back to School Days. I always loved. I don't know if you were a fan of that one.
You know what, that one, I've seen it. I know about it. I know why it's good. My friends played it and told me all about it. But I forget what happened. I think at that point I'd broken the Spectrum that my brother had because I hit it in a fit of rage. And so we sent it back to Sinclair, say it's gone wrong. If they opened it up, probably like the motherboard was in half. But it eventually came back brand new in a box. Like, and if it was just a new one, it was like, well, okay, that's cool. But it took about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
So I think that was released sort of like at the point where we didn't have a Spectrum, and I had my new Atari, so I was busy.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
because I'm pretty sure when I joined magazines, it was out for a while, so I didn't bother to play it because it's just like I've heard all about it. So had I not played it or heard all about it, I would have probably played it. But
because Back to School was a sequel where there's a girls' school you have to go. You can snog your girlfriend to get lines.
That's right.
But yes, because I had the rubber key Spectrum, and then one day the key stopped working, so I thought I'd fix it myself by having a look inside. Obviously, nulls that one up, and then got the hard key version after that.
Oh, okay. The +3, what was it?
And then I got the was it 48K? It's hard to believe that things ran on those things.
Oh God, yeah. No wonder it only took people a few weeks to make a game. I mean, I get like it's all about keeping things very tight, but actual in terms of word count, it's not that 48K is not that much to fill up.
No, it isn't. It's like a text document these days, isn't it?
Even
Cobra,
less than that.
the second most violent game, but which has different on the Spectrum and to the Commodore, and now all the rest. I think.
Yeah, I was going to say that I think this version was actually okay. The Commodore version was absolutely freaking terrible, and I think, I mean, on balance, I think probably Ocean's C64 versions were generally much worse than their Spectrum versions. I think they just had better Spectrum programmers because Knight Rider was shite, and this was
yes,
shite.
I got nowhere on that.
Yeah, lots of 64 versions were just like, nah, not that good. And people look, because sometimes I'll be like, writing some tweet or whatever, like, oh, this is sucks. And they're like, no, it didn't. I played it on the Spectrum. It was really good. And I'm like, oh, yeah, right. So I was talking about this fucking 64 version, which isn't the same as what you played,
Did you ever use an Archimedes computer?
Yeah. They had one at CVG when I very, very, very first joined. I don't know what happened to it actually, because it's just kind of suddenly disappeared. Whether they asked for it back or whatever. But yeah, I played Starch on it.
Okay, because I remember Aberystwyth School, where I was, had the BBC computers for the normal kids, and then the sixth form had the Archimedes room where they were playing Elite. I found out, but yeah. Never got into sixth form, so I don't get to that level.
Yeah, the Archimedes was a pretty amazing machine, but yeah, must have been ludicrously expensive.
Yeah, because like I said, it disappeared. Never heard of them again. Arcade games, RoboCop.
Always fantastic. Yeah, yes, I was the first to bring that to the attention of people.
Nice.
Yeah, I just sort of, I'm pretty much sure Gary Bracey at Ocean told me about this movie, and I think I might have seen something in an American magazine, but I think he told me about it first, and then because I was kind of looking for this cool sounding movie, I kind of stumbled across it, and then of course went to see it, and it was absolutely fantastic. And then that's right, Gary Bracey, he was like, this is quite a few years later. He's like, we're working on a RoboCop game. Excellent. And he's like, but we're working with Data East, and they're actually going to make the coin-op version of it first. I was like, well, that never happened back in the day. It's like this, just what the hell? And so I think that the coin-op ended up coming out quite a bit after. But actually, they were both done at the same time. Or I can't remember. I mean, I'll have to Google it and look it up. But anyway, I think I remember playing the arcade game, and I was like, "Oh, this is absolutely fantastic!" I was so into RoboCop. I mean, it was absolutely brilliant movie, and he talks. He says all the right things. You get to,
yeah. This is the arcade, and Yuki took a lot of my money from this.
Yeah, it was really difficult. I remember playing it. It's just like, fuck me. There's a certain point in one of the platforming levels. It's just like, all right, this is where they want you to get off the machine, basically, and somebody else to get on it because it's so difficult.
Yeah. Oh god, it's just not me.
Yeah.
But you ever play emulators for that arcade stuff?
Yeah. I've got a PSP with everything on it, and that's fantastic for that because it's you got the joysticks. It's so well made. The buttons are brilliant, and it's got a big screen. So I'm like, I don't need to spend money on anything else.
Yeah.
Like this thing, and it is so well designed. I mean, it's like machined to so cleverly engineered and stuff. It's not quite iPhone, but nothing much is. But it's, in terms of video gaming, I think it's one of the best consoles you can, handheld consoles. It just feels really, really good.
Yeah, cool. Is there another one? The old Outrun cars. Yes.
Yeah.
Around by that.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I played that everywhere. I think first time I played it was in France near the Pompidou Centre, which is the Museum of Modern Art.
Okay.
For some reason, I'm just able to, that spidey sense. I just know there's an arcade somewhere, and so I'm like walking along with my girlfriend at the time we were having a weekend in Paris. I'm walking along, and I'm like, let's have a quick look around there. And she's like, why do you want to look around there? It's like the Pompidou Centre's this way, and went around the corner, boom. There was an outrun machine out the front of this arcade, and I hadn't seen it before. And she just like, she looked at me, just like, I can't believe you can find arcades like that. I mean, it's pure luck, but at the same time, it was, my mojo. So anyway, I'm like, look, I've got to have a quick go at this. She's like, all right. So
All right.
put in like whatever it was, some number of francs, and had a quick go. I'm like, all right, yep, this is as good as Gary Penn had already reviewed it. He'd played it somewhere and the magazine. I was just dying to play it because he'd sort of come back like, holy shit, you need to see this Ferrari racing game. It's really good. So I played it. But yeah, I can't play games like this anymore. It does my head in. I mean, they're cool, but I just spent too much time playing racing sims. So I play it and I don't feel like I'm driving. It's just like, it's like playing one of those electromechanical games where you had the car on a stick and you're just sort of moving it, and it's like, it's kind of like the video game equivalent of that now. No disrespect to the game because it's fantastic and I loved it at the time and it's great. Just when I play it now, it's like I don't feel I'm driving. I'm playing an exercise and avoiding things and trying to work with this little subroutines in terms of the skid and managing that. It's like I'm not driving. Whereas back in the day, it's like, when I play pole position, I'm like, wow, this is like so realistic.
Yes,
like,
2 gears, low and high. Let's go.
Yeah. Yes. It's like definition, right? It's like that's the most sort of fundamental driving. But at the time, it's like that's as good as it gets, and you kind of imagination fills it in. And ever since then, it's just been the same kind of thing. You're driving along. You just, it's less and less about your imagination because the game's actually doing it to the point now where when you're driving your car along, it's a very real thing. But it's not that much different from the Gran Turismo I played in 1997, just lower definition, slower, chugging a bit more. But it's it's the same thing, but worse. And now it's the same thing, but better. So
you were a
pole
fan of the
position was
football
kind of. Sorry.
No, carry on.
No.
I was just going to say, are you a fan of the Football Manager games from like the old days where it's just like putting players up and seeing the score after the game is finished?
Yeah, me and my mate played the original Football Manager. Like, we had a good few nights playing that and really enjoyed it. They're really, really good, watching our team play and the little stick man. So yeah, again, it's your imagination fills it in, right? I mean, I had no less fun playing that. In fact, I probably had more fun playing that than I do now with playing FIFA, which I kind of it's fine. But whenever the whole time I'm playing it, I'm just like, this is exactly the same as last year's and the year before and the year before that, and fucking EA with its incremental, like scientifically calculated to be just enough money to make people think that they should buy it, when in fact it's the same fucking game with different digitized faces. It's such a cheat. It really bugs me.
It's like full price for a year, and then it goes down to £1 as soon as it's even a sniff of the next one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's usually when I buy. I'm like, I'll pick it up for £1. I'll play it for like a few weeks. I'll buy all my favorite players off the the market because everyone's got them, and then there's no money in the game anymore. And then I make my bet, because actually that's the only reason why I play FIFA, is that I play FIFA to make a team of players that is like my favorite players. And once I've done that, I'm like, there's nothing in it for me. That's that. Like, because actually, FIFA is kind of weird. It's like one of those games where you just, why am I playing this? Because I'm not really winning anything. Like if you're into collecting players, I kind of get it. Like if I'm playing Call of Duty, it's like I'm trying to unlock guns, or I'm doing a battle pass, I'm trying to get the outfit or whatever. And you feel like, all right, that's my little bit of fucking cheese hanging in front of me on the string as I run on the treadmill. But then FIFA is like, there's never enough rewards. Like as soon as I've got the players I want, I'm like, what do I want? And the Happy Saturday version of my player that I've already got, that's 0.01% faster, and it's rubbish to play online because you're just going to get absolutely smashed by some dickhead and has got all the best players.
Yes.
And it actually seems like nobody actually really plays online, because that's exactly what happens, because the only people playing online are the ones with the amazing teams. So you've got like 20-minute wait before you can play a game anyway. I don't get FIFA at all. I guess people just buy it and play it.
Yeah,
play it with
it's
their
been a while
mates,
since I
maybe.
played one.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to GTA 6? Or do you think it's going to be 12 years or 15 years too late by the time it comes out?
Yeah, I mean, I'll play it. I didn't like the last one, which is kind of sound. "Ooh, look at me, I'm so cool." I didn't like the last one.
Set it in
I
London
did.
again.
I kind of did like it. I mean, I loved driving around and doing all the fun stuff. I actually didn't like the characters and the plot. I didn't I didn't like the people. So it's actually the first one where I've spent far, 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 far more time just dicking about doing stuff that and without actually finishing it. I'd finished every one up until that point. But yeah, I don't want to play this character. I'm not able to do the things that I would really want to do in the game. And I get that, it's kind of one of those things that's interesting in video gaming, right? You have games where Cyberpunk, you're playing a character and you have to do specific things and you have like limited responses. So you're like, I have to kind of just buy into that character. But then kind of once you get beyond that, you can do your own thing and it really becomes fun. And GTA is kind of the same thing where, like, I don't like what these characters are doing. And if it was me, I would prefer to do something else or find a different solution. But you can't, because you just got canned responses. So I'm much more sort of. I like Final Fantasy, the MMO, because while you're on rails, they do it in a way that it doesn't make you feel like you're on rails, and also it makes you feel like you do have a little bit of agency,
Right.
because you're generally doing good things. So most of the time, the choices are, well, yeah, okay, I'm happy to go along with that because that's a good one. Whereas in GTA 5, sometimes I'd be like, no, I don't like that. I forget what I reached a certain point in the game. I'm just like, nah, that's dismal. I don't like it. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go and drive around and do crazy stuff.
Blow shit up.
Yeah, do all of the side quests and sort of run the businesses and things like that, and that's fun, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But so hopefully this one will be good, because the thing is that I played RDR2 and I thought that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that a lot, because it felt a little bit more like it had a little bit more choice, even though you didn't, and the choices were better even though they were limited. Because I think overall, like, John Marston as a character is a lot more sympathetic than the Motley crew in GTA 5.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
And I kind of just like this. He's slightly tragic, and he knows what happens to him. So you kind of playing this sort of prequel to a game that I thought was fantastic. The original RDR I thought was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed that a lot.
All right, let's have a look. I think there's one more. Did you ever play the Afterburner gyroscope?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Oh, cool.
Although most of the time it's broken.
Yes.
It's the one they had in the Trocadero, because
yes, I was going to say that's where I played at the Trocadero for a pound.
Yeah. They had a couple in when I would move to Southern California, Irvine. They opened up a Sega Center, which was actually the flagship Sega arcade on the West Coast. And it didn't get any bigger than that. They had everything. Yeah, it was like one of those arcades you see in the movies where it's just like cavernous and everybody's walking around playing things. I mean, it was amazing. It must have cost an absolute fortune. But they had an 8-player, and I can't remember what it was, but it was an 8-player something, and they had like what looked like 3/4 of a Formula One car in front of the screen. and
Right.
the cars moved back and forth on a rail depending on who was first, second, third. And it was an 8-player setup. So
Nice.
just insane. They had like all of that kind of stuff, and they had these too. But yeah, even there, they were only open at a certain time because you need the attendant, and they obviously didn't want to have someone stand next to it all day. And I forget how it was quite expensive. But the trouble was, it's just like it was like a ride, right?
Yes,
What's
it was
happening
more of
on
a ride.
screen absolutely had no bearing on what was happening with the machine, because the machine could never keep up with it. So
No, I was like flying upside down or doing barrel rolls, but yeah, the plane
yeah.
wasn't doing that.
I mean, if you want to do the same thing, just buy yourself a bloody handheld emulator, put yourself at a tractor wheel, and have somebody roll you down a hill while you try and play it.
It does have the same outcome, yes.
Yeah.
Are you a fan
But,
of the Bond games from day one to what's coming up?
I mean, I've played them all, right? So
Yeah.
like View to a Kill was pretty shite, like way back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then I did play, I've obviously enjoyed playing GoldenEye at IGN at the time,
Yeah.
but I would just watch what was happening on other people's screens and kill everybody, and then everybody was doing the same. And I was at when I was at Virgin, we used to play Quake all the time and on network. So I got so kind of first-person shooter from like the mid '90s, sort of '94 was when we first started playing it, something like that. And then I was into Unreal Tournament and all that lot. So, so GoldenEye always felt a little bit like it's not kidding, a bit kiddie, It's like
it is.
I'm so used to driving around trucks and with somebody on the back shooting and that kind of thing. So pedestrian, I think, is more the word. It's a fun game. It's cool. But because you can see what other people are doing, it kind of it made it kind of broke it in a way. It's like, no, I need my own screen. I don't need to be able to see other people's screens, because it kind of makes it a bit
he's
unfair.
hiding over there. I'll go and get him. Slaps only. Right, I've just got some more pictures to show off. Just some of your thoughts on if I share the right screen. Once we go, here we go. The Competition Pro joystick.
Yes.
Was it any good?
Oh, fuck yeah, it's the one and only, man. If you're not using that, what the fuck are you doing? Like Quick Shot 2, rubbish stick. I mean, I get it's like for flight simulators and gentle gaming, but now this is the the choice of
Built
pros, basically. Yeah, absolutely. I've thrown mine against the wall, and just everything, and it just keeps on going. Especially like the earlier leaf spring on the buttons, that you can you can take it apart and retune the leaf springs and kind of put some sandpaper between them to get the the connection, so you don't get any oxidation and all that kind of stuff. This stick was just absolutely built like the proverbial tank. To me, it had just the right kind of like leverage for very responsive, but and enough of a dead zone that you can kind of you just can really finesse things. Like slightly longer travel. There's a kind of a stick that went to a sort of it was almost like a teardrop, and it had one button on it. It was very similar to this, but it was micro switchy. That was the stick was probably like just a half a centimeter longer, and it just was it was like, no, it's not quite right. So this definitely had it. I think this is brilliant. To me, it's like this is one of the sort of like should be in the video game Hall of Fame, basically, as a joystick, because I just think in terms of its sort of industrial design, it does the job. It is indestructible unless you are really want to smash it to bits, like under normal circumstances, and quite beyond that, it will perform perfectly. And
Yes.
I mean, we would wreck joysticks at Zap because that's what
I
we
bet.
would, just playing games all day, and you just getting really, because we're all under stress, would fucking throw the joystick down if we had to. Not, it's so annoying. You'd be reviewing a game and you know it's got like 5 screens, and they're all just like bastard hard because there's only got 5 screens, and the program doesn't want you to finish it in 10 minutes, and you'd be sitting there going like, fuck you, because you got hit by a random hazard that you had no control over. It's like Monty on the Run was like that, right? There was no timing. It was just like, no, I'm going to kill you now, and you can't do anything about it. Just the worst games design. That's why I can't play some of those old games now.
Right.
As soon as a game's got something like that, I'm like, nope, no time for it.
Take everything away from him. Is it a good thing that they didn't have energy drinks back then when you were doing that, or did you have your own amount
we
of
had
coffees?
coffee. That was our energy drink, was coffee and tea. Yeah, enormous quantities of it. So
many a late night playing with the joystick. Right.
Absolutely.
Because we'll go on to this one, as you said.
Oh yes, the world's most fragile thing. You just like don't slam your door; it's going to fall apart. It's like terrible. Like you'd be using it, and it'd be creaking and groaning. Yeah, it's just fine for flappy Super Huey combat simulator. Sort of flight sims and all that kind of stuff where you're not really doing anything. But yeah, any kind of like stress gaming, absolute bag of shite. Massive leverage, got no control, and those suckers never actually stay.
No, I how can you not get technology that sticks to suckers?
Yeah, rubbish.
If you're gonna
stabilizing cut. Yeah, I mean that's one of the fancy modern ones, but
for £14,
the old ones
with that.
Yeah, the old ones are all black, and just the build quality was shite.
And then there's a list of W. Smiths, John Menzies, Littlewoods, Mail Order, Toys R Us, all gone, aren't they, most of these?
Yes.
But there we go. Okay, let's have a look. What's next? Vixen.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Sex sells, apparently. Get a free poster of Page 3 Girl.
Yeah. I mean, it's all very pedestrian these days, but
it's shocking back then, and ban this sick
game. I forget. It was a few years ago. It was like whatever 35th anniversary of it coming out, or 30th, or whatever, and I was just doing a bit of research and writing about it, and I remember the fuss and the bother about it, and it was so kind of like storm in a teacup. So you have a national newspaper where you've got her. Yeah, exactly. You can see that at the breakfast table. What's wrong with this? Oh, no, I know. A game attached.
Yeah, giant poster as well. Which brings us along to...
I was going to say, speaking of Page 3 Girls, there's this, and then Maria Whittaker, of course, as well. But
But yes, I played this for the first time properly 2 years ago, of course, beta, and I couldn't tell what I was looking at when the digitized picture came up.
Yeah. all the finesse of a random bunch of Lego put together, it's
yes,
like terrible. Basically,
is she that way around or that way around? I can't
tell. Terrible. I think I'm sure I must have reviewed it. I can't remember anything about it. I mean, it's so not memorable, So, but if the pictures were really good, and then I'm sure I ever remembered it, I'm pretty sure I kind of played it and just went, "No, it's shite."
But yes,
probably the most powerful simulation written for home computer.
Yes, back then. This is another one.
Barbarian was good. That was
I loved Barbarian.
Yeah, that great game. Yeah, really, really fun game.
Gladiators there.
Yeah. Yes. I think it was cool. I remember seeing the early shots of like the ads when they came in,
Okay.
And forget what happened. We got them in, and like, I think one of the ad guys said, "Oh, you got to come and have a look at this barbarian game." And we'd already been talking to Martech about it, and like they were gonna bring it in. And seeing the ad and like going, "Oh, yeah, somebody's going to make a fuss about this." But then, like when you look at what was on the cover of our magazines at the time, is exactly stuff like this anyway. So it's kind of, it totally fit into the meta, if you want to call it, and sort of like what the environment that was back then. So and fun game, like I think Barbarian 2 was a bit more of an arcade adventure, right? You were sort of walking about and
He's got a bit more
fighting
to go
people,
around.
Rather, Barbarian was
plates.
just a straight up one-on-one. Yeah. Okay. Then
But do you think it's one of those situations where they knew they'd get a rise out of the pearl clutchers and the children protectors? And
totally. Yeah, we had those conversations, back in the day. What do you think about this? And it's totally what you do in sex cells. Mildly controversial. And plus you're doing it to generate the controversy because you can't buy that marketing, but you can generate it, and when you do, it's worth more money than you would have spent on marketing. And of course, that's exactly what happened. couple of stupid Murdoch-owned newspapers having a fit about it. Again, despite having the same woman a few pages early with the knockers hanging out. Like, okay, God. Stupid.
Yes, let me get away from that shameful pictures before they corrupt us even more. I guess they didn't corrupt us much.
Who knows?
Yes. So one of the reasons we invited you on was because you said you got a new book coming out. Have you?
It's the second print of the book that I launched in February. So Games of a Lifetime. Being, look at that! Yeah,
who's that with the thumbs up?
With its it's like the cover is its very own hidden object game. There's actually a lot of really crazy freaking detail. If you look at it, it's like everything in there is like stuff I said. Could you, here's a list of things to put in there if you got the room. And Gary just sort of went to town, and there's like see the record player bottom right. There's a yellow
the album
boombox. Yeah, the album. That's Gary Newman, Pleasure Principle.
Nice.
I couldn't, but when I didn't ask for that, he'd actually read the book when I was talking about that, so he put it on in there. I was like, it took me a while to spot it, and I was like, holy fucking crap! He actually he made a Gary Newman pixel thing that looks like it, like the album cover. Yeah, and all the controllers look just like he is just a maniac, and all the cats on there too. They're all like different, like various cats of mine. Well, because where I grew up, of course, and added that in there. Yeah, it's just brilliant. Like just so much stuff in there. Anyway, it's a book about games and kind of what I was doing when I was playing them, really, which was kind of a weird thing to write at the time. Like when I was writing, I was like, "This is a bit of a gamble," to be honest. Because some people might kind of go, "Oh, it's self-indulgent bollocks," because you're talking about yourself. But I was like, you know what? It's games. Games of lifetime. That's the whole point. They're not games in isolation. It's like games are with you throughout your life, and they can get you through bad times and help you celebrate good times, right? And all that kind of stuff. And that's what it's about. So you've got that context of what was going on in my life. Whether that was before I became a journalist and what it was like, kind of going to arcades as a very poor kid and figuring out ways of getting more money so I could continue to play games. And so I would help people win at fruit machines, and I was very good at that. And I'd like like I memorized all the reels and stuff. So you get a nudge and you'd be like, oh, there's the melon. There's like just beyond that cherry there. So if you move that down, and I get the jackpot and give you that 20p and be like, great, okay, that's another 2 hours worth of gaming, basically. So do that, yeah. Keep an ear out for the 10 penny falls.
Yeah.
You sort of like you'd spot one sort of hanging and be like, all right, I'll just be patient because that's going to eventually fall, and so it will suddenly go and you scoop up some money before everybody else did.
Yes.
But yes, so that's how you fund your gaming when you don't have any money, or at least you spend most of your money on the bus fare getting you into Aberystwyth.
Because the pier here, if you go first thing when it opens, if you walk around coin machines, there's lots of coins that have dropped, like either after they turn them on or
yeah. Sometimes there'd be a power cut, and you'd go over to the machine straight away because as soon as they started up, you get a bunch of drops. It's great.
Not that I condone taking money from poor arcades.
Back then it's like, you're just reinvesting it in the arcade, so it's not like it's actually going anywhere. You just
I wouldn't be putting my money in there, so they're just getting their money back. Something like the old pole position, fantastic. Always one I
loved. I mean, a lot of this book is kind of about, obviously I'll talk about games throughout, but it's just the stuff that was very memorable. And I remember getting out of the pole position for the first time and having this adrenaline shake. It's like, wow, because it just felt so realistic. But again, like pole position, I mean, that came out of absolutely nowhere. You went from kind of Sega Turbo, kind of slightly overhead, semi 3D, but it just didn't feel. It was cool, and what it was doing is great, and it was sort of doing a bit of sprite scaling and all that kind of stuff, and that was cool. But you stepped into a pole position machine, and it actually kind of felt like you were driving because of the perspective and just the way it was, and you're in the cabinet and stuff, and it was just like remarkable, the feeling of the road, and it wasn't a simple arcade game. You could accelerate and crash in a way that felt realistic. You could lose control in a way that felt realistic. You weren't just dodging things on the road, which was kind of like what Sega Turbo was about. This was actually a racing game, and it was the first of its kind, and it just was absolutely astonishing. And really, I mean, that's it. Ever since this racing games have been doing that, but just getting more and more sophisticated graphically, sonically, the feel and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But this was kind of, I feel like I'm in a car driving, and
let's go really fast.
Yeah, I remember like I was playing it in the morning because I was working in Aberystwyth at the time, and I'd gone down to the pier, and I was like playing it, and people were, because it had that sort of clear bit at the back, and you could look in, and I kind of looked up, and there was just these people like staring at the screen, like, holy fucking crap, look at this, like, and it was it really was astonishing at the time. One of the sort of like biggest revelations for me in terms of an arcade game. Just sort of getting out of it and just thinking, like, wow, like I can't believe how good that is. I mean, there's lots of different games that have sort of done that over the years, but in terms of just like hitting that sort of like wow high, that's really up there as like one of the just astonishing spectacle to see for the first time, having never seen anything like it before. Just like, wow, all in color as well. I mean, a lot of games are still vector. I was playing it. It was right next to the Battlezone machine, which I was into at the time. And coming out of Battlezone, wireframe to this, it was just like, damn, look at that.
Yep. I go from Star Wars to Return of the Jedi on the arcade.
Yeah, Star Wars. Damn, Star Wars was good. Yeah, that's a name, of course. I mean, all the good stuff is in there. Yeah, Star Wars is another one where you just sort of. I remember kind of like that evening, kind of, and I played it in London actually.
Okay.
I was down at the arcade championships, and I'd gone to an arcade in King's Cross and played these new games. Played Star Wars, went back to the hotel, and I was like thinking, like, you know, like if video games can do that now, like in the future, you're just going to be like flying around in space, and it's going to be massive, and it's and like so. That's when I kind of really began to sort of wake up to like video games potential, and like that was a big motivator of like I've really got to write about, I've got to be involved in this somehow because it's just so frigging cool, and these things are going to just get better and better and better. And yeah, within however long it was, about 18 months, I was working full time. I was still at school at that point.
Cool.
But yeah, I've got to work in games somehow, whether it's designing cabinets or whatever. I'll figure it out. And luckily, I ended up writing, and here I am. 4 years later, still doing writing. Only in this particular case, and writing about what I did way back at the very beginning, which is kind of cool. It was fun.
Yeah.
It's like thinking about all of that stuff, and getting old photos to jog memories, and like talking to different people at the time. Like when we did this, did that really happen? Am I thinking it straight? Oh yeah. Cool. So because it's like 40 years, particularly in the very early days in the arcades and stuff like that. You sort of your brain sort of it's not necessarily an accurate take. Your brain kind of sort of bigs it up maybe or whatever. Or it gets conflated with something else in different situations and stuff. So it took me quite a while to sort of like figure out like, all right, how can I really sort of tell the story and it be accurate? So that's when I began to kind of get in touch with people and sort of like taught them and just sort of like make sure that I was not sort of like going crazy and thinking things that didn't happen, because kind of it'd be kind of weird if you're reading something and say, hang on a sec, you couldn't have seen it at that point because that didn't actually exist at that sort of, pop music and stuff like that. I forget what I was absolutely convinced that I was listening to this particular song while playing this game, and then it was like a few weeks later I kind of realized that no, it's because actually several years later I was in Brighton and I was playing the same game, and I was listening to this tune, and so I associate that game with this, even though the game itself was from whatever it was, 1985. But the tune that I associated with is 1987. But I'd conflated that when I originally played it. So I thought, oh yeah, when I was playing it, I was listening to this tune, and I was like, no, how could that be? It could, So I looked it up and checked it, and sort of fact checking your own stuff, and like, yeah. No, I'm just getting old and senile. I just
So, do you have a collection of consoles, or is it just the modern ones you keep? Have you got the old ones?
I don't even keep the modern one. Well, I mean, I have the latest ones, and I'll throw them out as soon as I get a new one. No, I've got a PSP, like I said, with an emulator on it. So the only thing I've got an American TurboGrafx that just for no reason, it's just in a box, and was in a box, and I've just happened to bring it from California with me. And I didn't see the point of selling it. I thought it was quite good, and it's all mint in the box and everything.
Nice.
I'll keep that. But I've never been about the hardware really. Okay. It's just the game. So I've got no real attachment to hardware at all.
Okay.
So yeah, just the games and emulating them. I'm perfectly happy with that. MAME, all the rest of it. The only old machine I have got is a PlayStation 2, and the reason why I keep that is because it has all of the arcade games on the disc.
Okay, yeah.
eventually stopped doing when they were like, "Fuck this, we're gonna just part it all out and sell it for like 99 cents each and rip people off." But that was the kind of like the last generation where people were like, "Oh, the whole point is to put as many arcade games in a collection as possible and sell that." So you've got like Midway Treasures 1, 2, and 3,
Yes.
Taito Legends, and all those really great games. And so I've got this PlayStation 2, and then the entire collection of those, because actually, if I want to play a big screen version of that rather than playing it on my PSP, then I can put that on a 60-inch telly, play it with a DualShock controller, and it's about as good as it gets, really. So,
that's a good idea.
yeah, it's the last generation of sort of like really, really good arcade compilations. Plus, because there's not much nostalgia attached to them, you can like buy a PlayStation 2 and all of the compilations. Well, I think I spent about $100 on the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I like, for a kind of like an ultimate retro gaming kind of system with all the games and a great controller, that's dirt cheap.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. So yeah. And then yes, a Jonathan Ross that's very pleased to meet you there.
Yeah, I don't really remember much. I was never one for the award ceremonies, so
I bet.
as you can probably tell from my expression, like, I don't really want to be here.
He's smiling enough for you. I'm disappointed you don't have the hair anymore, but
that's come off about 1995. I'm like, you know what, I'm done with this. Plus, I was in California where it was molten hot, so I didn't want long hair, so I just had it all cut off. But yes, that's Paul from Ocean on the left there. Also wearing longer locks, as was the fashion at that point.
The Mel Gibson mullet.
Yes, but I guess that must have been very late 80s, like 89 maybe, something like that. Yeah, he was good. He was into video games, so he's like did the golden joysticks cheap. I mean, he'd sort of turn up, do the comparing and bugger off and probably earn a few thousand. So he didn't mind doing that.
Maria Whittaker. There we go. That's a trip down memory lane for both of us, because Zap was in Yeovil, was it? Did I read that?
Originally, from February 1985 to probably about end of June, maybe. Okay. So we're only there for 3 months, and then Ollie and Roger moved us up to Ludlow.
I was going to say, because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean,
now, not alone back then.
Yeah, I liked Yeovil, actually. It was a nice spot. Yeah, basically they said to Chris Anderson, "Oh, you can set up wherever you want." So he just bought a house in Somerset. So he said, "All right, we'll set the magazine up in Yeovil then." And I went, "Okay then." And like 3 months later, they're like, "No, we're going to move the magazine up to Ludlow." And Chris is like, "But didn't you say that, And they're like, "No, fucking move or you're fired," basically. So
right.
So they laid him off.
Move.
Absolutely reprehensible. Such a shit. And he just had a kid.
Oh, shit.
But anyway, I mean, not that was really a problem for him. He had a few tough years and then built the biggest media company in Europe, and now has a full-time job giving money away. So he's that rich. So good on him.
Well, that's what we strive for, isn't it?
Yeah. He's got all these bloody. I mean, he owns TED Talks now. I think that's his sort of thing that he does. And because he owns TED Talks, and he gets to talk to every possible luminary and clever person and all the rest of it, which he loves doing. That's what he always like that kind of thing. So glad that he sort of found his way and sort of did that. But we worked together for a good few years. In a little bit in at Zap, obviously, but then when I went to California and was at Imagine, so he was still there running the company, and I probably worked with him for about 4 years there. I mean, sort of helping him make IGN and which made fucking enormous amounts of money for him, which I saw fuck all of, but that's the way it works, unfortunately.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So my friend Mike, the real Fifth Beatle, he's known as on YouTube, he's got a question for you because what is your favorite video game of all time? Is it possible to pick just one that you'd say, I'm playing that right now?
I mean, like I would just always go with the first thing that springs to mind is Robotron. Okay. Like it's just such a pure video game, like, and that other better video games, of course, like I would love to play Final Fantasy 14 again for the first time because it was just an astonishing game with just incredible. But in terms of just like, what do I want to play? Robotron, it's just fun. It's a blast. It doesn't really get old. The loop is perfect for me. So, in terms of like just a simple basic game, like what do sort of like if you want a quick blast, Robotron is the thing. Because, you'd sort of think Defender maybe because I was sort of really good at it, but it's too sophisticated. The thing with Robotron is I never mastered it. So it's always got that kind of like I haven't played it to death, I mean, I'd sit there and play like bloody Defender for 18 hours non-stop. and just at the end of it, like my brain would be fried. Yes. But Robotron, I never did that. My friend did. My friend did some marathon on it and gave himself some hideous disease that fucked him up for like months because he didn't sleep and he just kept playing to do this marathon and it like he did something to his body and it was terrible. So yeah, I forget how long he played it for, but yeah, he suddenly got this thing and sort of like ended up in hospital with on a drip and all the rest of it. It's like, oh my god. Anyway, I never did that, and
good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because actually, I think I would have probably tried had the pier been open 24/7. I would have just thought, how long can I go on for? But the longest I could play on the pier, which was going in first thing in the morning with the cleaners when they just turn the machines on, and then leaving because they had a nightclub on the pier which is open until I think 3 a.m. on a Saturday. So I would go Friday morning, 8 o'clock. They'd let me in, and I'd start playing, and they'll go all the way through till 3 o'clock, and they'll be like, "All right, just turning the machines off," and then boom, okay. Done. 18 hours on 10p again.
I was going to say, how much did you spend? Because I had to spend about $2,000.
yeah, bloody one. Yeah, single credit, 18 hours. I mean, I must say the peer were very, very good to me because they like they sort of let me play like that.
Nice.
And because I was practicing for doing championships and stuff like that. But at the same time, it was kind of weird because it's like before streaming, there were people like me, and I'd be sitting there playing it, and there would literally be like 18 or 20 people all crowded round behind me, watching me play over my shoulder. And because what happened was a couple of people would be like, "Oh, he's a bit good at this," and they'd stop, and a couple of other people would be like, "What are they watching? Oh, him! Fucking hell, he's not dying." And then suddenly you get this kind of big crowd, and people go off. But when I was doing marathon games, I would have all these people, and they've sort of it was kind of interesting. And eventually, I'd hear like some dude's girlfriend like, "Oh, can you stop watching? I'm gonna go do something," because she's bored. But the guy's like, "Holy crap! Look at him doing this fucking shit." But that was really cool. So it's kind of like I said, not streaming, but even back then, people wanted to watch other people who were really good at playing games. Is kind of what I'm saying. So and they would sit there and they'd be playing the machines next to me because they had like 4 or 5 Defender machines and stuff. So not like I was, there was the one Defender machine I was monopolizing. I was like I was advertising like Defender for the rest of for the other ones. But that was really, really cool. It was fun.
Nice. Because I guess an intergalactic spaceship didn't come down and whisk you away to intergalactic battle to save the
Yeah,
universe.
yeah, I would have been that kid, I think, at the time. I remember like watching that movie going like, oh yeah, that would have been me. No problem at all.
Did
It
you ever go
depends
to the
actually.
Yeah.
I
No,
was gonna
that's
say,
go.
like with Elite, like that wasn't my thing. No, I was definitely a shoot 'em up fan, but I wasn't like an
Right.
Elite player. It was a bit too
Okay.
slow and steady and too many buttons and stuff. Which is why I always like the Micro Pros flight sims, because they were like
Oh yes.
sophisticated arcade games, basically. You know, they sort of didn't exactly play like a flight sim where you kind of watching rudders. You just take off and fly around, and it wasn't that difficult to stay
Yeah.
up and shoot things down.
Because when I went to ABBA, it was like go for a wimpy, then it was
Yeah.
go to the arcade on the pier, and then it was go to the Commodore cinema to watch a film. But I guess
The Commodore. Yeah, God, all the movies I've seen there. I mean, saw the Bond movies there from about 77 to when
right.
did I leave? 84. So yeah, saw the Bond movies there. Jaws, Close Encounters, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Ghostbusters, all of that lot. Beverly Hills Cop, all of those, fantastic.
Nice.
I must say, the Commodore was pretty good. Like in the very late 70s, it was a bit slow.
Right.
But I don't know what happened, but kind of by about probably 1980, ABBA seemed to kind of get stuff really quickly. Because I remember, like, I had to wait about a year for Star Wars to arrive in ABBA. It was doing my head in. I'd read the Marvel comics, I'd read the original American ones, the British republished ones in black and white on the bigger format newsprint. Read those. I'd read the novel several times. So I was like, "Fuck me!" Just bring the movie to Aberystwyth, and then it finally came. I think it was 79.
Crazy.
And but things like Beverly Hills Cop, that we saw that like probably a couple of weeks after it came out in London. And
they were better than when I went, late 80s when I went.
Yeah. I forget the guy's name, Dom something. Anyway, I think he got a good contact because he was getting lots of movies in, and you have lines outside the cinema, and it was always packed. Yep. So I think he made
turned
good
away
money
because
out
it's
of it.
already full. One showing a day.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, I queued up for Star Wars for like 2 hours, and we were probably about 3/4 of the way at the back of the queue. I mean, people have been queuing now, seemed like all day, but that was like super popular. Every kid wanted to see it, so it was like, all right, Star Wars, let's go.
I think View to a Kill I saw there. That was my first Bond in a proper cinema. Return of the Jedi I saw in Memorial Hall in New Quay during the summer.
Oh, really? I'm pretty sure I saw 2001 there.
Okay.
Years. I mean, not when it was released, but they kind of did a special evening there, and they had that. And my dad took me. I don't know. I was quite young, probably at 13 or 14, so that would have been like the late 70s. Maybe it wasn't there, but I think they're kind of like there's a place in Newquay that would show movies ever so occasionally, and it wasn't like a huge screen. It was like they set up a projector, and it wasn't actually a cinema, but it kind of doubled as one.
Yeah, it was like an extra 25p or something to sit upstairs on the comfy balcony seats, or the sit downstairs on the classic school ones.
Right. Yeah, maybe it was like a little music hall or something like that when they would do the Steffords or whatever.
Oh, don't. Mr. Earls.
Oh, God. Yeah, now I'm getting flashbacks of freaking. Like when I first moved to Wales, I'm English, obviously. So, like as soon as people heard my accent, fucking English, because like in the late 70s.
Fucking size.
Say son, fucking say son. So and it, like Welsh nationalism was very strong. They were burning down holiday cottages
Yes.
at the time. So there was definitely kind of that stuff going on, and so yeah, there was like me and a few other kids that were like the English gang in our school, and then the other bigger Welsh kid gangs, and yeah, it was a bit heavy going at times, but no, what can you do? It's kids being kids, and kind of odd getting picked on for being English, but it gave you an interesting perspective on life, and kind of you could relate to certain things. So
yeah,
but it was probably like we had 1 year where it was really difficult, and then everyone kind of mellowed out. I don't know why.
okay.
I just grew up a bit.
It's like in my school, it was like the comprehensive in Aberystwyth, and there was 3 classes for the year. There was the English class, there was the Welsh class, and there was the class of English people that were good at Welsh. So they were separated.
Okay. Yeah, we had we had like basically it was like a really old school in Tregaron where I went. It was A, B, and C. So like the A. There was like Reed, Bont, and something like I forget what they were. The classes were called, but yeah, you had like the smart kids who were predominantly English first language, and you had the sort of like the smart kids that were predominantly Welsh language first language, and then you had the idiot class basically, which was like all the the difficult kids and the learning disabilities and all the rest of it, and the one I was obviously in the English first language, which was the biggest class, and the Welsh kids were all taught in Welsh, which is kind of interesting.
They did farming lessons in Aberystwyth, so yeah,
same in Tregaron. Is it like wow, probably kind of like the last generations to actually do that kind of thing before all the education got standardized. But yeah, I got a great education in Tregaron because we do cooking classes, sewing classes, woodwork classes, music classes. We did the lot, and that was actually really fun doing all of those different things. Now it's shy, but it was an old school. I would get caned because I was bad, being ADHD and very disruptive. But the headmaster wasn't very good with a stick, so I'm just like, as soon as I got caned, I was like, that's not a problem. Great, I'll continue to be naughty because actually the punishment is not really a deterrent at all. So.
Well, so the kids from Aberystwyth, if they got expelled from Aberystwyth, they went to Lampeter, and then if they got expelled from Lampeter, they went to Tregaron. So,
oh man, Tregaron scores. What? How many people were in Aberystwyth? Because there's about 500 in Tregaron. Is that Aberystwyth about the same?
It was about the same. Small? It wasn't massive. It's had a lot of porter cabins that were temporary that have been there, that are still there today.
Yeah. Tregaron was interesting because we had like the old school had been built like about 120 years before, and it was like a Victorian school. It was tiny. It actually had the town library in it. It was just kind of interesting.
Nice.
And then they built this sort of like newer comprehensive. So you sort of had this sort of this old part, and then this new part, and then road running down the middle, and you'd be crossing over to go to the different lessons. And so they had all like the science labs in the new bit, and the old bit was all where you do geography and English and all that kind of stuff. Yes. But all the stuff in the old school was really old. So like you had like desks that were probably original desks, and you open them up and there'd just be carvings like, it was like 1918 on it.
Yes, like Roman numerals.
Like wow. When you're young, you're like, this is hundreds of years old. Holy shit. But even now I'm thinking about it, like, God, this old.
Yeah. What's this inkwell for?
Inkwells with stuff in it, and really kind of weird sort of. They must have got rid of it now, but because it was all, back then they would, stuff was incredibly well built. It didn't break. It was all like metal freaking hinges and great thick. Bits of wood for the top, all that kind of stuff. So, I remember drawing something absolutely obscene on the biology lab, and they just got a sander out, sanded it off, and not a problem.
Easy peasy by then.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a lovely trip down memory lane anyway tonight.
All right.
So
Well, I
thank
hope
you.
that's been relatively enjoyable and that
I
you get
enjoyed
something
myself.
out of this. Yeah, you can tell I had a word at a time.
That's excellent.
So,
Thank you.
What I think what was fun, it was just because it was just totally random. Like, just it's fun. You just here's a bunch of random pictures now talk. And so yeah, I'm like totally into that. It's kind of surprising.
Cool, thank you.
And because what often happens is I get asked the same kinds of questions all the time, and these weren't really the same kind of question because you're like, I mean, when was the last person asked me about fucking trapdoor? Like, absolutely random. So it's like, okay, yeah,
I
this
thought
is
so. I
cool.
like to be different from my interviews because same when I doing actors and stuff, they're always talking about the same films. So I have to go in and see stuff I've seen years ago and they've never talked about. So it's a lot more fun.
Yes. Yeah, I like your technique. I mean, I've obviously done many interviews over the years, and what I like about yours is it was random, but thoughtfully random because you'd obviously thought about this stuff, but it was just kind of left field. Like, okay, that's completely random,
I'm glad you enjoyed
but
it.
cool at the same time. Yeah, fun. So yeah,
I'll
thanks.
let you go.
That was
That's
great.
ahead of us.
All right.
All right, that's great. Thank you. Stop sharing.
Yeah, let me know when you stick it up online, and obviously I'll link to it and talk about it.
Ah,
And
cheers.
good stuff.
Thank you. I'll
No
cut
problem.
out the swearing.
Right.
All right. You take care. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye bye.